Very good morning, dear students. Today we are going to talk about oogenesis. So naturally our objective for the day is to understand oogenesis. Important terms we need to know before we start with the learning of this process are first the gametes. What are gametes? Egg and sperms, which are haploid, are the gametes. Gametogenesis, it is the process of production of egg and sperm. Spermatogenesis is, the production of sperms, and oogenesis, it is the production of eggs, the process of production of eggs. So let's take up straight away how oogenesis takes place. So before I start oogenesis, we should understand two things. One is that oogenesis, it begins at the fetal stage. That means it begins in the fetal ovary. And second, that oogenesis, it is the development of ovum. It is the process of formation of ovum. But at the same time, we need to study simultaneously the development of follicle also. So it is development of egg as well as development of follicle. So let's take it when we talk of development of egg. So egg development, as I told you, or the ovum development, it begins in the fetal ovary, and within the fetal ovary already certain female germ cells, also known as gamete mother cell or the ovum mother cells, are already present in the ovary. Around few millions are there, and these gamete mother cells are known as oogonium. You can see it here. They are known as oogonium, and already around a couple of million of such oogonium are present, and in the fetal stage only they multiply and they produce more such oogonia. So these are what? These are ovum mother cell, or you can say they are gamete mother cell for the female. So where it is happening? It is happening in the fetal ovary. Now the development of, or the formation of ovum, which you can see here, the formation of ovum from oogonium, it has number of steps, and during these steps, oogonium first changes into primary oocyte. Can you see the primary oocyte here? Then from primary oocyte it changes into secondary oocyte, and from secondary oocyte it changes into ovum. So as I told you earlier that it is a process in which the formation of ovum take place, but at the same time follicle also develop. Follicle is nothing but these ovum, outside it certain layers of cells develop, and that is known as oogonium. So we have different stages of different stages of follicle development also taking place simultaneously. I'll be showing you another picture where you will see that along with this development of the ovum, the follicle also develops from primary follicle to secondary follicle, from secondary follicle to tertiary follicle, and from tertiary follicle to the Graafian follicle. So these two processes, development of ovum and development of follicle, they take place simultaneously. But let's first study how ovum development take place. So as I've already told you, ovum developments begin at the fetal stage when couple of million of oogonium are formed in the fetal ovary. These oogonium multiply by mitosis, and many such oogonia are formed. So these oogonia are all diploid. Now as you know that gametes are haploid, so these oogonia need to undergo reduction division, that is meiosis, to form the ovum, right? So meiosis, you must have read in your previous class that meiosis has two steps, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. So these oogonia, they begin meiosis 1, but this meiosis 1 is withheld at the prophase stage of meiosis 1. As a result, this primary oocyte is formed. Since this division has not actually taken place, the reduction division or the meiosis 1 has not taken place, it is arrested at the prophase stage. So this cell, primary oocyte, is also diploid. So this, it is in fetal stage, the primary oocyte is formed, and they remain in this primary oocyte stage to divide later on when a female reaches its puberty, right? And when it divides, it becomes a secondary oocyte. So this division is now the completion of meiosis 1. As a result, you have haploid, secondary oocyte is formed, and a small polar body is formed. This polar body, it gradually get consumed by the body itself, and it disappears. But this large cell, which is formed by the division of primary oocyte, which contain major amount of cytoplasm, this becomes the secondary oocyte. Now at puberty, these eggs, secondary oocyte, they are released from the ovary, and then when they are about to get fertilized, that second meiotic division take place, and the secondary oocyte is converted into ovum. So this ovum formation actually, take place when the egg is the secondary oocyte, when it is about to get fertilized. So point I want to make here is that during ovulation, which we'll be studying a little while later, during ovulation, when this it is a secondary oocyte which is released from the Graafian follicle. So you'll just get to understand this, but meanwhile you understand that when this secondary oocyte, it is about to get fertilized, that is when it completes its meiosis division 2, meiosis 2. As a result, again, it's an unequal division, and two cells are formed. One is known as the second polar body, and other is known as the ovum. So this second polar body, as the first polar body, it also disappears. But this is how, you get the female gamete, which is known as the ovum.